Alright, I'm gonna show this. This is about 32 feet 6 inches long. I thought my gutter was longer. I thought it was 47. I think the guy ripped me off that made it for me, but there's the tape measure all the way there. And I'm gonna come down here, show you that, it's approximately 32 feet 6 inches long. And I'm gonna do some of this test on my cell phone and some of it on my B700 Nikon camera. First, what I want to do is I'm trying to create a little bow or like a little banana shape to my gutter, so I have water coming off of both ends. That way I know in 32 feet that water is pretty much level. Alright, so let's go from here. I'm going to shut my phone off and try to set this up a little bit better where the water's... Alright, this is what I got here. You have to hold on to this thing. Down my 32-foot long gutter. That's a light pole at the end down there. It's actually a 6-inch piece of PVC pipe. I tried to center it on the pipe. I'm not quite centered on it, but that's not my point. My point is the mirroring effect that occurs, and where the pole and the water converge is almost an invisible convergence line. You cannot see where it converges at all. And I need to lower that down a little bit there. Let's see if I can't just... See how it appears to have two separate water lines? That's an optical effect. I'm just going to try to tilt my camera up just a little bit. It's a little too much. Right about there. Okay. And I've got it on manual focus and try to focus it in as best as I possibly can. And of course you see I'm getting out of focus here. Okay, and what I want to do is I'm going to go down to the other end and place my little piece of plastic, my fake boat, and I'm going to set it on the down at the edge of this gutter, and we'll see what happens. Oh, look at there. I wish the sun was up a little higher and not so far to the south of me here. Let's see if I can't focus on the boat a little better. obviously what you get is what we see out on the water. Now, here's the thing. I want to raise this up just a tad bit. So we got everything within the limits. Top and bottom are almost the same. Now what happens when notice the whiteout on the left side of the screen? Yeah, that's due to the light reflecting off the pole behind it, but this is what occurs out there over the water too, because it's just a mirror image of the sky above, and when the sky's all hazed out looking, this is the same effect that you'll get out there, and it gets to the point where it almost vanishes, it almost disappears. Well, parts of it does, especially the part that's mirroring vanishes at times. But you can also see how the light is almost diffracting right through this object. And this is, I use this as my fake boat. It's just a battery cover for the positive terminal of a battery. But I said, hey, it looked good enough to use for, to model a boat for what I needed it for. But I did get some little, I sank the battleship boats that I will use later on. But I plan on using them in some other little tests that I'd like to do. But you can see this effect that's happening. It's almost like double vision. Now, I just placed a magnifying sheet in front of the camera, which at that full zoom, or at that zoom, and I am pretty much at full zoom, with the B700 Nikon, 60 times zoom. So in turn, you're getting these effects that are exactly like what we see out over the water. Now, I'm going to do another one where I stick the magnifier here, and look at how I'm looking down underneath. So it draws things downward, even though you might say it's refracting up. It is refracting up, but it's actually pulling things down in a sense, because it's pulling my line of sight down. So again, it's just redirecting my line of sight when it's magnified to where it actually, again, it changes my angle of view more on a downward. And I'll show you how it's really working over the water here in a second. Okay, I'm going to try to get this thing centered here a little bit better so I can zoom in a little more. But as you can obviously see, that this is creating an actual problem for us. So here, I'm going to have to make sure that I don't get water on my camera. Okay, because what I want to do is I'm going to add warm water into this, and I'm hoping my battery don't die by the time I'm done with it, because the battery does look like it's a little worn down. But you see, I got to get this thing centered a little bit better. There, let's try that. So again, I'm going to get my cell phone out. Let me see if I can't focus this just a little bit better. And again, center it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add hot water. Let me get my cell phone out. Okay, the water that I already had in this gutter, I had let it set for an hour, hour and a half. So it's pretty much what I would call room temperature. Actually, probably just as warm as the air. Plus, you got to remember that it is in a gutter that it's getting warmed up by the sun on this right side of the gutter. It's getting most of the sunlight. And that's why you had that ramping up effect on the right hand side, causing this boat to get even more mirrored out. But it's going to be really interesting as I start adding warm water, this hot water to it. Now, not only we do have the issue of me filling up the gutter with more water, but what I'm going to do is let that water run out on both ends of the gutter. That's why I use open end gutter, so that water will run out both sides and allow it to drain. But again, watch what happens to my boat, and there's a couple other things that I'll point out to you as this occurs. So just be patient and watch. I think you'll enjoy this, and I think it's pretty damning evidence to the globe, and how they claim refraction is pulling things up, and in turn I'm going to prove that it's pulling it down with hot and cold water, both. Save my my magnifying lens for when I raise my camera up higher. I think it'll show more. Again, I can already see a difference in my boat as I'm heating up this water. See if I can show you. So hopefully the camera picked up my voice when I said I was going to start, filling it up with water. But I also want to, let this water drain, because it is getting higher in the gutter. But as soon as I feel that the hot water is coming out at both ends, and we get total hot water in there, I will shut it down and then let it drain off the excess. But look at that. Well, all right, keep filming, man. Got 9 minutes. All right, I'm gonna shut my camera off. Keep my B700 going. Obviously, there's something going on here with the hotter water, the warmer water heating up in here, and I'm starting to get warm water out the end. When we get in here shortly, I'll shut that water off and let it drain out both ends here. Like the little kids watching the rocket take off. Look, it's going down. It's going down. Look, Dad, it's going down. Is that supposed to do that? Both ends of the gutter. Like I said, just a real quick, I'm showing you it's draining both ends. And I'm going to shut the hot water off now. I'm going to finish draining out both sides. And while it's doing that, I'm going to try to find another wow, what a difference that made. Whoa. It drawed it down. Folks, it drawed it down. Just like we see in the water. I think the same effect occurs when the water is hotter than the air or when the air is hotter than the water. It's almost the identical same effect where it draws things down, not up. This is not pulling anything up from behind the curve. If anything, it is displacing it on a downward draw, and it is cutting off your vision. Now, somebody might say that, the whole gutter is sinking. Well, I don't know how that is. I've got it on 4x4s with shims underneath it. It's not going down, and I'll show that to you. When I put the cold water in there, it's even going to drop more. Alright, well, this is draining off. It's almost done draining too, but you can tell, well, that it magnified and drawn it down. It's pretty simple to see. Now what I'm curious about is if I change that around and made it hot water or cold water, put cold water back in there, would it do the same? Again, I hate to move my camera, but I only got 5 minutes. I could see if I could get the same reaction to go back the other way with cold water. Alright, wow, it totally vanished right off the screen. Alright, I got cold water going back into it. Let's see how long that takes. And see if she appears to rise up too. Now the angle of my light is changing too a little bit. I don't think that much to make a big difference, but never know. I don't know if it's going to be enough time. Cool that water down. Alright, the pole at the end of the gutter has a dirt spot on it. And, as you watch this dirt spot, it actually starts being drawn down too. There's actually a couple of them on this pipe that in the original video I could see them much better. When I'm converting it, I don't see it quite as prominent, but that little black spot just keeps dropping and dropping and dropping. And this isn't due to my camera moving, because I'm not moving my camera at all. Now you do see some of that flashing going on with the water spilling over the edge, and it's catching some of the light, so it's kind of flashing some light frequency in front of my camera. That's what you're seeing. And I do believe that, any movement on top of water creates a frequency, creates, other issues too, not just the frequency. But this frequency here, now we can start seeing these dark spots even better yet. Just keep watching the dark spots at the top of the screen, and you'll really see how this is being drawn down, not up, people, not up. That's what's amazing about adding this water in there. It really is a big tell, and it's obvious to me what I'm seeing. Yeah. Now I don't know. I might have to raise my camera up. I got a minute here. Come on, hurry, quit draining. Now the water that was in there before was pretty much air temperature. I put it in there and let it set for a while. So putting the cold water in there, it might have had the same reaction. I just have a feeling I'm going to have to put another battery in here. Refraction. They say test and prove all things. Well, I'm testing it and I'm proving it that it's downward, not upward. And this is why things vanish bottom up, over the water and over land. It's both. It's not just one or the other. It's both. Appreciate it. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for more.